Making money in the stock market does not need to be complicated. Jim Cramer might have you believe that you need to watch his show to know the ins and outs of every company that's listed publicly. Sure, there's nothing wrong with watching CNBC all day if you really are interested in the latest trading and investing news out there, but is it all really necessary in order to trade or invest to make more money? Whether you've been investing and trading for decades, or even if you've just saved up your first few dollars to put into a few stocks, there are some simple ways to invest that don't require any real knowledge of how companies and markets work. You could still make just as much money as anyone else investing in just one stock. And this is true if you're a long-term investor, trader, or even if you only trade options. Why spend so much of your time and energy listening in on quarterly reports of every company you can think of? Do you really need to hear what every analyst has to say about the future prospects of every business or market? With 20 analysts telling you to buy, 30 telling you to sell, and 100 telling you to hold, what are you supposed to do? The answer is, stop listening to them. Why don't you need to know all of this information? Because there are already millions of investors out there who already know it before you, and they've already priced that information into every stock on every exchange. As an individual investor, you can't compete against the big boys in trading and investing who have distinct advantages over you, such as the leverage of billions of dollars to manipulate markets and insider information that they continue to illegally trade with and get away with it because they have teams of lawyers to help them find every loophole imaginable. As an individual investor, you can't play the same games as them, but you can absolutely make a fortune playing the games that were meant for you. Investing the right way for you is simple and begins with a few ideas that I'll be showing in future videos. For now, let's start with the easiest way to get started. The one stock that can make you money no matter what your situation is. You may hear that this sector is tanking because of global warming, alternative energy, and the growth of electric vehicles. All of this advice has its merits, but you can't simply judge a stock by its sector. You need to know how good the company and its stock really are. What stock am I talking about? Well, there's a good chance you've already guessed it, but in case you haven't, I'm going to tell you a bit more about why this stock should be in your portfolio. Bad news in a sector can certainly tank a stock quickly. The large cap energy sector is no exception. With all of the news and reports on climate change, there is a distinct push against this sector and the stocks often suffer. However, does this mean you should avoid investing in this sector? The answer is, it depends. Rarely does a company survive long-term if it's always stuck in its old ways, if it's too conservative, and if it's unwilling to be flexible and change with the times. There is an endless list of businesses that have fallen prey to the idea that the old ways are always best. But there are also plenty of companies that have proven a willingness to do what it takes to stay afloat and thrive even if what they built their name on and fortune is on its way out the door. For example, a large cap petroleum company that thrived for many decades on profits from selling crude oil might find itself struggling against the current of environmental pressures unless it starts investing in alternatives to its own primary product. This type of company can do well if it remains up to date by investing in renewable energy. This may seem counterintuitive by selling a product and its primary competitor as well, but now that company isn't a petroleum company, it's an energy company. So as I'm sure by now you've guessed the stock I'm talking about. What stock is it? It's ExxonMobil. Over the lifetime of the stock, it has done very well. It has done well for long-term holders by providing long-term growth, and it also provides in the shorter term with its high dividend. It even does well for day traders and options traders with its high volume. This is a stock you should be investing in no matter what your style is. You really don't need to learn the ins and outs of hundreds of companies. You don't even need to know that of dozens the way you've been told by analysts, news outlets, or anybody else who profits off of telling you which stocks to buy and sell. All you really need to know about are a few companies that are well run, have a good long-term performance, and have a large enough market capitalization to have a large amount of outstanding shares and high trading volume. ExxonMobil is the perfect trading and investing vehicle for beginners through seasoned veterans in the stock market. Holding it for the long term has time and again proven that its long-term growth and high dividend has made many people rich over the years. Day and options traders have also made fortunes playing off of market trends and news coverage. As for an individual trader like yourself, you can't go wrong buying and holding, even when the price dips. You can collect a dividend to give you a buffer while the company eventually turns around as the market changes and starts growing again. You can even sell covered calls to collect even more profit during the waiting period. You see, the idea here is that it doesn't pay to try to learn about many stocks when you don't have to. While you should always diversify any investment portfolio, which is easily done by any investor using ETFs, you can invest and earn high profits over the short and long term by just knowing about a few companies. ExxonMobil is a great place to start, and every portfolio should include it. It's a true golden boy. So what stocks are your golden boys?